Raise your fists together. I am somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody.
Red and yellow, brown, black, and white. We're all precious in God's sight. Everybody is somebody. Stop the violence. Save the children. Stop bullying. Save the children.
Hold your head high. Stick your chest out. You can make it. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sonia Whitaker, National Education Policy Director for Push for Excellence. And on behalf of the Rainbow Push Coalition, we'd like to thank you so much for giving of your gift of time and joining us here on our Saturday morning forum. We'd like to thank Word Network for bringing you to us and us to you. And yet we recognize that there are many of you who are watching us now on Facebook Live. And for the many of you who are watching us on Facebook Live, we want to ask that you like our page. And for the many of you who prefer to watch us on YouTube Live, we'd like to ask that you subscribe to our page so that you may gain immediate access to all of the content that we have in store for you. And speaking of content, we can't do this without you. We need your support. And we've made it really easy for you to give. In fact, you can choose from one of 3 different options. You can simply pick up that cell phone of yours and text the word PUSH to 41444, or you can take that same cell phone and hold it to the QR code on your screen and give right on the spot. Or if you prefer, you can simply go to our website at rainbowpush.org and click on the donate button. Now, whatever you do, do not move, sit still, don't touch that dial. We'll be right back because the push is on.
Good morning. Welcome to the Saturday Morning Community Forum. Today, we dedicate this broadcast to the memory of 3 young men, a little older than teenagers, who went to Mississippi as part of the Freedom Riders, fighting for organizing African Americans to vote in Mississippi. They were murdered in Mississippi several years ago this week. Today, we're still fighting for a federally protected right to vote for all Americans.
On June 21st, 1964, 3 civil rights workers were speeding down rural backroads of Neshoba County, Mississippi. Their names were James Chaney, Michael Schwerner, and Andrew Goodman. A black church had recently burned down, and they came to investigate. But now, there were flashing lights behind them. A spy for the state of Mississippi had tipped off the sheriffs that civil rights workers were coming. And the sheriffs were colluding with the Ku Klux Klan. The civil rights workers slowed down the car. Their training said to always stop for police.
For trying to exercise rights, for trying to help others exercise rights, people paid with their lives.
James Chaney was a native of Meridian, Mississippi, who dropped out of high school to join the civil rights movement. Michael Schwerner, a social worker and activist from New York City, moved to Meridian in January 1964. Chaney and Schwerner quickly became friends. Together, they began laying the groundwork for the Mississippi Summer Project, which would bring hundreds of volunteers from colleges across the country to Mississippi to help black citizens register to vote.
Mississippi public officials viewed it as an invasion. In fact, they called it out loud an invasion. They created statutes to basically harass, investigate, jail people who were involved in the civil rights movement. And in terms of the Ku Klux Klan, this was kind of their call to war.
The civil rights workers were also targeted by a state intelligence agency called the Mississippi Sovereignty Commission. The commission was formed in 1956 to combat integration. Under direct control of the governor, the agency treated civil rights activists as agitators who needed to be suppressed.
The Sovereignty Commission started spying on Mickey Schwerner and his wife, Rita. Those reports then went from the Sovereignty Commission to the police department in Meridian, Mississippi, about half of whom were members of the Ku Klux Klan. Mickey and Rita Schwerner drove a station wagon. One of the spies, whose name is Agent X, wrote down this license plate number, and it wound up on the list of license plate numbers of civil rights activists.
It was the same blue station wagon that Cheney and Schwerner drove from Mississippi to Ohio on June 16th for Freedom Summer Training.
I don't think any of us were really prepared for what was going on in the state of Mississippi at that time. But little bit of preparedness we had, we did do our best to transfer it to those who were coming down.
It was an effort in a very condensed way to bring home to people the seriousness of the situation and the dangers that they would face.
They're going to pick you up on the road. They're going to put trumped up charges on you. You're going to wind up in jail.
What are you going to do if somebody pushes you? What are you going to do if somebody slaps you upside the head? What are you going to do if you are arrested? And they would have these simulations. And that's what the training in Ohio was all about.
While Cheney and Schwerner were on their way to the training in Ohio, armed Klansmen came looking for Schwerner at Mount Zion Church, a black church outside of Philadelphia, Mississippi. When they didn't find him, they brutally assaulted churchgoers and burned Mount Zion to the ground.
What we know now from the Klan perspective is that burning the church was essentially a setup to bring the civil rights workers there.
The two men were unaware that earlier that spring, state leadership of Mississippi's White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan authorized the murder of Michael Schwerner.
Mickey was a marked person. And he became an extra marked person, not only just because of his, he was Jewish, but because of his effectiveness. And when he began to move into the Neshoba County area, the people there began to really embrace the work that he was doing along with James Cheney's.
When word of the attack reached the training, Schwerner and Cheney left to head down to Neshoba County. Andrew Goodman, a new volunteer from New York City and a student at Queens College, joined. An agent for the Sovereignty Commission who had infiltrated the Freedom Summer Training reported back that the so-called invasion of civil rights activists was starting. And by the time the trio reached Mississippi, state authorities, sheriffs, local police, and the Klan were lying in wait. On June 21st, Cheney, Schwerner, and Goodman inspected the site of the burned church. A spy in the black community reported their presence to the Neshoba County Sheriff's Office. As they began their drive back to Meridian, they were arrested by Deputy Sheriff Cecil Price. The three were taken to the county jail at about 4 p.m. After holding them past nightfall, Deputy Sheriff Price released them from jail around 10:30 p.m. By then, 2 carloads of Klansmen were in position, watching for the blue station wagon. In coordination with state highway patrolmen waiting nearby, Price got into his squad car and led the Klansmen on a high-speed chase after the civil rights workers.
Price turns his lights on, and the training of the civil rights workers was pull over. Cecil Price put them into his car. They drove to this remote area called Rock Cut Road. Outwayne Roberts grabbed Mickey Schwerner out of the back. Mickey Schwerner, by training, was a social worker, and so he tried to connect with people. And so he said to him, "Sir, I know how you feel." And Outwayne Roberts shot him right in the chest and killed him. And then grabbed Andy Goodman, shot Andy Goodman in the chest. By this point, James Chaney obviously realizes what's going on. And so he manages to run, from what we can tell, and gets shot by multiple Klansmen.
The killers buried all 3 men 15 feet under an earthen dam and set the blue station wagon on fire.
This atmosphere of fear was just palpable in Mississippi. There was nothing to rein in this violence. And when you've got law enforcement who are part of that violence, there's no one to protect you.
The state of Mississippi refused to investigate the men's disappearance.
So I have no reason to believe that these people had been killed. And we don't have any information with the state police that would justify any such conjecture.
But there was widespread media coverage, and the federal government undertook a search. "44 days after they were murdered, the FBI found the trio's bodies.
You see, I know what's going to happen. I feel it deep in my heart when they find the people who killed those guys in Neshoba County. You got to come back to the state of Mississippi and have a jury, all their cousins, their aunts, their uncles. And I know what they're going to say, not guilty, because no one saw them pull the trigger.
Federal authorities had evidence and 2 signed confessions, but Mississippi made no move to charge the Klansmen and law officers with murder.
And when they got this evidence, sufficient evidence to bring criminal charges, it was a situation in which either the federal government was going to bring criminal charges or there were going to be no criminal charges.
The FBI arrested 21 Klansmen, charging 19 of them for conspiracy to injure, oppress, threaten, and intimidate the civil rights workers. Only 7 were found guilty in a 2-week federal trial. None of the 7 convicted served more than 6 years.
Do you trust the police? Do you trust courts? Do you trust your state government? Do you trust your federal government? Well, if you've watched people who have committed murder and get away with it, imagine what the answers are.
Where do you turn? Who is it that you can go to say, you know, I am part of we the people. I am part of this Constitution. I am part of this country.
We must use the insight, wisdom, and experience of the late Hubert Humphrey as a balm for the wounds in our party, this nation, and the world. We must forgive each other, redeem each other, regroup, and move on. Our flag is red, white, and blue, but our nation is rainbow. Red, yellow, brown, black, and white. We're all precious in God's sight. America is not like a blanket, one piece of unbroken cloth, the same color, the same texture, the same size. America is more like a quilt, many patches, many pieces, many colors, many sizes, all woven and held together by a common thread. The white, the Hispanic, the black, the Arab, the Jew, the woman, the Native American, the small farmer, the business person, the environmentalist, the peace activist, the young, the old, the lesbian, the gay, and the disabled make up the American quilt. Even in our fractured state, all of us count and fit somewhere. We have proven that we can survive without each other, but we have not proven that we can win and make progress without each other. We must come together. Fannie Lou Hamer in Atlantic City in 1964, to the Rainbow Coalition in San Francisco today, from the Atlantic to the Pacific, we've experienced pain, but progress as we ended America's apartheid laws. We got public accommodations. We secured voting rights. We obtained open housing as young people got the right to vote. We lost Malcolm, Martin, Medgar, Bobby, John, and Viola. The team that got us here must be expanded, not abandoned. 20 years ago, tears welled up in our eyes as the bodies of Swerner, Goodman, and Cheney were dredged from the depths of a river in Mississippi. 20 years later, our communities, black and Jewish, are in anguish, anger, and pain. Feelings have been hurt on both sides. There's a crisis in communications. Confusion is in the air. We cannot afford to lose our way. We may agree to agree or agree to disagree on issues. We must bring back stability to these tensions. We are co-partners in a long and rich religious history, the Judeo-Christian traditions. Many blacks and Jews have a shared passion for social justice at home and peace abroad. We must seek a revival of the spirit, inspired by a new vision and new possibilities. We must return to higher ground. We are bound by Moses and Jesus, but also connected with Islam and Muhammad. These three great religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, were all born in the reverend and holy city of Jerusalem. We're bound by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Rabbi Abraham Heschel, crying out from their graves for us to reach common ground. We're bound by shed blood and shed sacrifices.
This is Bishop Tavis Grant, the Acting National Executive Director of the Rainbow Push Coalition, and I want to thank you for helping us keep hope alive. You know, right here in Chicago, in just a few weeks, July 15th through the 19th, the most incredible convention in civil rights, the Rainbow Push Annual 56th International Convention, held right here in the great city of Chicago. We have a wide array of activities that we want you to be a part of, and you go to www.rainbowpush.org or any of our social media platforms and become engaged, involved, and enlisted in the fastest growing social justice army on the planet. That Saturday is going to be a reunion of the 88 campaign, the 35th anniversary of Reverend Jesse Jackson's 88 presidential run. campaign workers and volunteers and staffers and those that manage that campaign will be converging on the city of Chicago as elected officials and policymakers and stakeholders will be coming from around the nation to converge on Chicago as we kick off that grand day, July 15th. On the 16th, at the Apostolic Church, Dr. Byron Brazier, we're going to host our Dr. Clay Evans Gospel Concert, and the talent is going to be second to none, and it's absolutely free. Starting on that Monday, that Tuesday, and that Friday, we'll be at the incredible Rubenstein Forum on the campus of the University of Chicago. We're talking about sessions and plenary sessions and engagement and panels and meal events, all that can be found and discovered at www.rainbowpush.org. Let me tell you something, this is a convention you don't want to miss and you want to be a part of. So go to that site right now, register, get involved, and I'll see you at the 56th Annual International Rainbow Push Convention, Chicago. Here we come.
When I think of Rainbow Push, I think of two words: social justice.
Education advocacy.
Political empowerment.
Freedom and equality.
Global humanitarian.
Evolutionary, revolutionary.
Political change.
Inclusion, evolution. Push Excel.
Progress, justice.
Jesse Jackson.
Keep hope, keep hope alive. Keep hope, keep hope alive.
Love for disciplines.
Equality and perseverance.
People united.
Push yes.
I'm Otis Moss III.
I'm Frederick Douglass Haynes III.
And we are here simply just to say to you about an incredible organization known as Operation Push.
Can I be admitted? No, sir, you cannot be admitted. Why? I am not going to serve you.
Because of my race? Operation Push has been here for us even when we didn't know it. As a matter of fact, a lot of the doors that you walk through is because of the fact that somebody knocked those doors down.
I am somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody.
And because of Operation Push, when it started as Operation Breadbasket, after the assassination of Dr. King, they decided to build an organization that were people united to save humanity.
Just what is Operation Push?
Well, Operation Push is a civil economics organization. It's a religious organization with an economic mission. And we believe that the black church is the political and spiritual salvation of our people. And it is to that extent that we challenge churches and churchmen to get involved.
And so we are simply asking those who have been blessed by Push to join the movement.
That's right. And if you do that, I promise you, you are blessing the next generation. And that's what we need, generationally, to bless those who come behind us, just as those before us made sure that we could have what we have. That's Operation Push. Pushing doors open, but we can't push if we don't have your hand involved.
We want to turn on the gas. We want to turn on the water. We want to sell the clothes. We want to sell the cars. We want to be men. We want self-determination.
And it was Jesse Jackson who was the young man of the movement and now is an elder statesman. And we've got to make sure that we have another generation that will be pushing forward, another generation that will be building an Operation Breadbasket, another generation that will be talking about new economic strategies for those who are poor.
And ensuring that we are never politically disenfranchised. I hope you already recognize that there is a movement afoot to rob us of what we fought so hard for and shed blood for, and that is the right to express our voice through voting.
If blacks vote in great numbers, progressive whites win. It's the only way progressive whites win. If blacks vote in great numbers, Hispanics win. When blacks, Hispanics, and progressive whites vote, women win. When women win, children win. When women and children win, workers win. We must all come up together. We must come up together.
We need you in Rainbow Push to make sure we are politically empowered and enfranchised.
There is no other organization like Rainbow Push, and we encourage you to make sure that you join and financially support. If we don't support it, no other organization will. It is our duty, it is our job to support our organizations.
We got to do it. Grassroots organization, hitting the streets and challenging those in the suites. That's Operation Push.
I like that. I'm Reverend Otis Moss III.
Hey, I'm Frederick D. Haynes III. He's rubbing off on me.
Make sure you join Operation Push, Rainbow Push, today.
Keep hope alive.
Are you a rising sophomore, junior, or senior in high school? Well, we're excited. We're doing an HBCU tour. Yes, Push Excel. And if you haven't been on one of our tours, you have not been on an historically black college or university tour. We don't only go to colleges, we go to corporate sites as well as introduce you to cultural sites. So we want your families to be involved. We want your communities to be involved. And this is like a tour like you have never visited and gone on before. Please visit us at www.pushexcel.org for more information. And guess what? Calling all Greeks, calling all HBCU Tour Push Excel Rainbow Push alum, calling our community and clergy. We want you to be a part of this process. We are sending these students off right. So please go on the website, give us a call at Rainbow Push, find out what's going on because you do not want to miss this tour. When is it? It is July 22nd through 29th. So next month, make sure that you get on the bus. But call us soon. There are workshops that you don't want to miss.
Push Excel's goal is to inspire students to strive for excellence in education in spite of personal, family, and community challenges that they might experience. How do we do this? By advocating for educational policies that guarantee equal funding for all students without regard to race or economic standing. By engaging parents, students, and teachers in pursuing high-quality education and striving for educational excellence at every level. And by forging partnerships with community-based and public sector stakeholders in education. Now, Push Excel is a national model program with the purpose of connecting principals, parents, popular personalities, and students in a bond and to support students at every level on the educational ladder. Now, we want you to become a member of the Rainbow Push Coalition and Push Excel. Your annual membership can help us to change policies that impact students, colleges, and universities all around the country. So step up and sign up today. Membership is only $35, and if you're a student or a senior, $15. Just go to our website, rainbowpush.org, and push join to become a member or push donate to support the Push Excel program. You can also text the word Push Excel, that's PUSHEXCEL, to 41444 on your cell phone, and you can give us any amount that you feel comfortable giving or call us at 773-256-2775. Wherever you are, you can support us as we keep pushing for you. And remember to keep hope alive.
It's summer camp time. Get excited, young people, families, everybody, right here in the Chicagoland area. We're inviting you to Push Excel to be a part of our fun summer camp. Now, this is not only just fun, it's not only just culture, it's not only just academics, but this is a STEM camp. So we want you all to come out, get excited about this STEM and sports camp. Yes, we do it every year, but this year we put a twist on it. So we have a 3-week workshop. This is a 3-week workshop camp that will run Monday through Friday, and it's gonna run from the dates of July 12th through July 30th. All day for 3 weeks, your child will be a part of workshops that include sports, from soccer to lacrosse workshops. They're gonna learn how to model. They're going to learn how to do arts activities, arts in motion, arts in music, painting. So this is a customized sports camp. And then there's a STEM City. They're gonna be able to get a part of, do some of our virtual activities, our music and our virtual STEM activities. So this is going to be a workshop camp that you do not want to miss. Please stay tuned and go to the website at www.pushexcel.org to be a part of that special 3-week summer workshop camp. Then you can also participate in our normal 6-week camp. Now, this is a 3-day camp. This camp will run on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And we want all of our young people to participate. Your families that do not have something going on in those days, we don't want you sitting around the house. We don't want you being bored. We want you to come and be a part of STEM City. We want you to be a part of these sports and these field trips and these activities that we have planned this summer. That camp is gonna run from July 7th all the way through the end of the summer, which is August 11th. So come be a part, join us at www.pushexcel.org, register your child, or you can even stop by to Rainbow Push to register your child for the summer camp. We're gonna have lots of fun. You don't wanna miss it.
In November of 1967, Martin Luther King Jr. and his Southern Christian Leadership Conference decided to undertake the Poor People's Campaign in an attempt to demand economic justice for the nation's poor.
We read one day, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But if a man doesn't have a job or an income, he has neither life, nor liberty, and the possibility for the pursuit of happiness. He merely exists. Estimated that we spend $322,000 for each enemy we kill in Vietnam, while we spend in the so-called war on poverty in America only about $53 for each person classified as poor.
After King's unjust assassination on April 4, 1968, which led to widespread rioting in most major American cities, King's longtime friend and fellow civil rights activist, Reverend Ralph Abernathy, stepped in to fulfill King's vision of a mass protest on Washington, D.C., while the Reverend Jesse Jackson stepped in as city manager to what would become known as Resurrection City. Busloads of a broad coalition of Native Americans, white, Latino, and African Americans began arriving into the district on May 12, 1968, occupying the 15-acre makeshift tent city near the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument, holding daily protests against federal lawmakers' dogged inaction on poverty. For the next 6 weeks, some 2,700 protesters endured harsh living conditions, including rain, mud, heat, and high humidity, as well as frequent clashes with police. The beleaguered demonstration culminated with the Poor People's March of June 19, 1968, with an estimated 50,000 people in attendance, including speeches by Vice President Hubert Humphrey, Democratic presidential candidate Eugene McCarthy, Abernathy, and King's widow, Coretta Scott King. Distracted by ongoing racial tensions and the Vietnam War, the Poor People's Campaign came to an end on June 24th, when a 36-day permit terminated the demonstrators' legal right of assembly, and when 500 protesters refused to vacate their soggy encampment, authorities used tear gas to disperse the remaining crowds. More than 100 protesters were arrested during the melee, including Abernathy, and while the Poor People's Campaign failed to bring about any significant anti-poverty legislation by Congress, it marked the first time that the civil rights movement expanded beyond demands for racial equality to include interracial class issues and economic goals for the nation's poor, making the Poor People's Campaign the last bold act of nonviolent protest by a nation's revered and fallen hero.
There's a storm out on the ocean, and it's moving this way. Come on! If your soul's not anchored in Jesus, it will surely drift away. There's a storm out on the ocean, and it's this way. If your soul anchored, it will surely drift away, drift away, drift away. It will surely drift away. If your soul anchored, it will surely. Now I want you to clap your hands. I want you to put a smile on your face. I want you to square your shoulders and let everybody shout glory. I said shout glory. Shout glory one more time. Jesus, I'll never forget what you've done for me. Jesus, I'll never forget how you set me free. Jesus, I'll never forget how you brought me out. Well, how can I forget what you've done for me? And how Jesus, there's power, wonder-working power in the blood, come on, of the Lamb. There is power, wonder-working power in the precious check right quick. You got somebody that's alive. Tell the person on the right, you made it. I said, tell them you made it. I want somebody to give God a scream. Living, he loved me. Dying, he saved me. Buried, he carried my sins for. Rising, freed me. Oh! Living, time, parent, sin, rising, free. One day, well, send it on down, Lord, send it on down. Wow, send it on down, Lord, send it on down. We need power. I said power. We need power. I said power. Power to walk right. Power to talk right. Power to live right. Power to act right. Power. 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 Holy Ghost power. Holy Ghost power. Holy Ghost power. Holy Ghost power. Living, he loved me. Dying, he saved me. Buried, he carried my sin for. Rising, free, one. Somebody shout glory. Somebody scream glory. Somebody yell glory. Yeah, glory.
This is Bishop Tavis Grant, the Acting National Executive Director of the Rainbow Push Coalition. And I want once again to make an appeal to you, July 15th through the 19th, our international convention held right here in Chicago. What a marvelous opportunity it is for you to partner, for you to join, and for you to participate. So many activities. It's the 35th anniversary of Reverend Jackson's maiden voyage into politics, running to be the president of these United States. And from 84 to 88, the landscape of not just the DNC was shifted, but our whole entire political process was infected and affected by Reverend Jackson's cause to bring a big tent to the process, to involve, include, and engage in a political apparatus, mobilizing the minority to become a political majority. That's what that coalition is all about. We'll kick this convention off on July 15th, and legislators and elected officials and policymakers will convene right here at Dr. King's workshop. What a tremendous opportunity it's going to be that day to not only talk about what has been and what is, but we will answer the question of what shall be. We want to thank Al Sharpton for bringing his show here live to Chicago that weekend. And then at the Apostolic Church of God, Dr. Byron Brazier, we will host a phenomenal gospel concert in honor of Dr. Charles G. Hayes and Archbishop Lucius Hall, both from Chicago. And of course, we're lifting up the legacy of Dr. Clay Evans and the Fellowship Church of Chicago. Monday and Tuesday will be at the Rubenstein Forum on the campus of the University of Chicago. You can go to our website right now, www.rainbowpush.org, and you can click the convention tab and get the schedule as is. It is going to be absolutely phenomenal. We have an international delegation that spans the globe that will be convening right here in the city of Chicago. We'll be talking about the critical issues of health, employment, and investment. Our amazing Push Excel Gala will be that Monday. Tuesday will be business, faith, and labor. And we'll close out on Wednesday with the most phenomenal International Women's Luncheon. Now listen, the schedule is far too wide and broad for me to go into it in just this moment. I want you to go to www.rainbowpush.org, go to that convention tab. It's right there in the banner. The hotel, the lodging, the transportation, the sessions, the panels, the events are all right there. Or you can scan the QR code on the screen and go there immediately. Registration is only $35. I promise you, you're going to come to the conclusion that you're just not paying enough. But guess what? We want to give you more than what you asked for, because that's what we do here at the Rainbow Push Coalition. And I want to thank you in advance, because your contribution, your investment, and your partnership with us help us in so many ways. And so as you become partners with us in our convention, why don't you make us a part of your summer budget? We've got students that are returning that we're going to put to work. We've got programs that we're running around the clock. Our benevolence and humanitarian efforts, and I'll be talking to you real soon about what we're going to be doing for the unhoused and migrants. There are so many ways for you to help us, and so many ways for you to become engaged. And yet, if you don't do something, something will go undone. And so I want to make this final appeal to you. You see at the bottom of the screen, you can text the word PUSH to 41444. And I know there's a lot going on, but let me help you with something. There is somebody who needs you, and they need us. And we can and must respond now. So go to www.rainbowpush.org and become a member. But not only that, I need you to use your mobile device and make a contribution and help us ensure that we leave no one behind as we are keeping hope alive.
We're excited to get more people involved in Rainbow Push, supporting the programs of Push for Excellence and the Citizenship Education Fund. If you're interested in impacting public policies, if you believe in the scholarships that we give to thousands of students each and every year, you can become a policymaker by becoming a member of Rainbow Push right now. For an annual membership of $35, or if you're a student or senior, $15, you can help us make a difference in the lives of millions. How do you become a member? Visit our website at rainbowpush.org and press join. Or maybe you'd like to support us. You can text the word PUSH, that's PUSH, to 41444 on your cell phone, and you can give any amount you feel comfortable giving. You can also call us at 773-256-2775, or go to rainbowpush.org and push donate. Wherever you are, you can support us as we keep pushing for you.
Dr. Kim, I went to jail with a group of 7 students, July 17, 1960, almost 60 years ago. We never stopped moving. I lost a few of jail cells and death. We never stopped moving. I thought it was time to write some of it down so the older generation can learn how we did and what we did and how global it was. Whether speaking about Mandela in South Africa, India, Qatar, Gandhi in India, here at home. This book tells the story, so please get it. So give it to your friends. Read it, let's argue about it, let's discuss it.
Yep, so the book is Keeping Hope Alive, Sermons and Speeches of Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. It's quite a good collection. You know, we've got sermons and speeches from around the globe because you have made such a global impact, not just here in the US, but around the world.
Thank you for tuning in to our International Saturday morning broadcast. We need your support. Here are ways to give to Rainbow Push Coalition. Text PUSH, P-U-S-H, to 41444 to support the work of Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. and Rainbow Push Coalition. When you shop, Amazon gives. Visit Amazon Smile and select Push for Excellence as your charitable organization by starting your shopping at smile.amazon.com.
So thank you for joining us on our Saturday morning forum. Be sure to visit our website at rainbowpush.org so that you can gain information relevant to our up and coming annual convention. You'll also want to visit all of our social media platforms so that you can gain additional information about all that we have going on in the organization. And equally important, we appreciate your ongoing support. Feel free to take that cell phone of yours and hold it to the QR code on the screen and give on the spot, or take that same cell phone and text the word PUSH to 41444, or you can simply go to our website at rainbowpush.org and click on the donate button.
We are sanctuary. We are a sanctuary.
When I think of Rainbow Push, I think of two words: social justice.
Education advocacy.
Political empowerment.
Freedom and equality.
Corporate partnership.
Stop the violence. Save the children.
Don't get in. Shut it down. If we don't get in, shut it down.
Political change.
Inclusion, evolution.
Progress, justice.
Jesse Jackson.
Keep hope. Keep hope alive. Keep hope. Keep hope alive.
We want to be bridges to end these cultural gaps.
Going forward by hope, not backwards, by fear.